troublemakers. In fact, they were the renegades of our society. And you know, even more than that, they've come up with a new religion. And in this new religion, they say things about Jesus that is blasphemous. Okay, the leader of Abyssinia was actually a Christian. So Amr ibn al-As, he's very smart. He ends up becoming Muslim later. At this time, he's not a Muslim. He says to the Christian leader that these people, they say something extremely blasphemous about about Jesus. So then, the leader of Abyssinia, he calls the Muslims for a council. And when the Muslims arrive, everyone prostrates to the leader except the Muslims. This includes the people who are with Amr ibn al-As, and then also the nobles. They all prostrate to the leader of Abyssinia, but the Muslims don't. So one of the nobles, he calls this out and he says, "What's wrong with you guys? Have some respect. Prostrate to our leader." And the Muslims, they told him that we don't prostrate to anyone but Allah. So then the leader of Abyssinia says to the Muslims, who are led by Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, that tell us about your situation. So Ja'far begins to tell the story. He was a very eloquent speaker. The Prophet ﷺ chose him to be the leader because the Prophet ﷺ was a great leader himself. Great leaders, they know how to delegate to the right people. So he chose Ja'far, and Ja'far begins, he says that we were a backwards people in Arabia. We were a people who used to worship stones and idols. We were a people who used to eat filthy things. We were a people who committed immoralities. We were a people who pushed away the orphan and pushed away the poor person. We were a people who were entrenched in sin. But then Allah sent us a messenger. And this messenger taught us, he brought us the light. And because of him, we began to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. We left our immoralities and we began treating the weak people with kindness and compassion. When he says all of this, then Ja'far ibn Abi Talib is told by the leader of Abyssinia, "Why don't you recite something from what your messenger has brought?" And so Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, being very intelligent, what surah does he choose? He chooses Surah Maryam. Because he wants to appeal to the Christian leader, because this surah is going to talk about Maryam and Isa alayhi salam. So he begins, think about the scene. He's in this hall, he's in this great palace of Abyssinia. And for the first time, the Qur'an is going to be recited at an international level, in a different nation.